Cool, so got a bit of a different video today. I'm at one of my regular sites and I've got 3 particular jobs to do, so I figured I'd just take you along for the day. First one is this unit here. I was here the other day and they said that it wasn't heating properly. Now, I got as far as working out that it was low on refrigerant, but there was another issue that kind of presented itself. Said, I think it was like a inverter issue. Now, it was running for about 20 minutes while I was trying to diagnose the refrigerant issue. The main hindrance being that it was completely bucketing with rain out here, and as you can see, we're outside. Now, I got that far, it started flashing saying a PCB issue, but I only got as far as basically saying, all right, we'll come back, we'll leak search, we'll get it up and running, and then we'll continue to diagnose. So first part of the video, we'll do that. Second part of the video, I've got to look into a package unit, which they were saying, actually no, they weren't saying anything. I just happened to notice it was going to defrost a lot, and I have a feeling that one of the fan motors wasn't working. Now I've got to go look into that a bit further. And the third issue is just looking into a water leak, which I think is coming from a flashing from a package unit. But yeah, we'll take you along for the ride. So straight off the bat, looking pretty good there. I was able to get a probe on it the last time, and there was basically fuck all gas in this thing, man. So, and honestly, I think the manufacture date on this is 2021. So I'd be surprised if it wasn't just the flares. Usually for an aircon's low on refrigerant, it's usually installation error. Because there's minimal gas in there, chances are my leak detector won't pick it up, or Big Blue either. So we're gonna jack it up with nitro, and then we'll go around, sniff all the flares and see what we can find. Usually jack it up to about 1500 kPa, seems to do the trick. Yeah, I'll let that settle down. Okay, so we'll get stuck into this. Focus camera. Surprising. Well, I was getting a hit on that service valve there. Oh, pull that away. I was getting a hit there. So I got a hit on the service valve here, which I have seen a few of those leak. So we'll see. I'm gonna hit that with Big Blue. I wasn't getting a hit around here. I mean, there is always the chance, obviously, as you can see, that the oil's all around where the Schroeder access is, but it just is a lot of oil, and also the fact that this thing is low on refrigerant. I will go hit the indoor flares. I'm gonna hit this with Big Blue first though. So surprisingly, Big Blue is not really showing much. I was getting a hit at the service valve and I thought I'd see a bit more, but those bubbles basically came from me spraying it. I try to be pretty careful, but so what we're gonna do, I have to go check those indoor flares. I'm gonna leave this on for a tightness test and see what happens. There is always a chance that it was the Schroeder core was leaking. Now, I didn't hit that because honestly, I thought it was going to be this flare. But I mean, that just goes to show you should always just follow your processes anyway. Usually I would do that, but you know, here we are. Anyway, I have got the Schroeder core out, so that was always going to get replaced anyway. But we'll go hit the indoor flares and see what we see there. Here we are, no obvious signs of oil, but we will hit them anyway. Genuinely surprising that. Yeah, alright, there you go. So back on the roof, and it's gone up 17 kPa. So there is every possibility it was just that Schroeder core. Hey, let's have a look at it. It doesn't get that to focus. Sometimes they're not just done up tight enough. Just gonna do one more hit with the leak detector out here, but yeah, if that's anything to go off, I'm pretty happy. So we'll chuck this thing on turbo this time. Hit the peak button 4 times. You can hear the beep change. All right, let's hit this thing again. I did wipe away the big blue as well, just in case that kind of like impedes the leak detector or like the refrigerant coming out, I guess. I don't know. Man, nothing crazy, eh? There you go. Oh, what we'll do, I'll we'll replace that Schroeder core, get this thing on back, man. So just put this one on back now. Yeah, I am genuinely surprised that it wasn't that flare. What we'll do, we will leave this thing on back for a little while. We'll replace the Schroeder core, and obviously pressure test once we're done as well. But now while this thing is vacuuming down, it shouldn't take that long. It was never really exposed to atmosphere, so it should be pretty sweet. We'll pop over to the other one and we'll have a look at that. And this is the site of our second job. So while I was here the other week, they said that there was a water leak, and I kind of pinpointed it to around this here, like underneath this flashing on this side. Basically, I'll see if I have any photos and put them up if I do. But the water was coming down. It wasn't much. It was just pooling up on the ductwork down below us and then kind of trickling down, going into a light fixture and coming out from there, which not good. But yeah, I pinpointed it to about here before the rain came in pretty heavy and I had to get off the roof. Now, basically my plan of attack is I'm going to get rid of all the silicon, take this section off and just see what I can see underneath. success. That's a bit more of a pain in the ass than I thought, eh? Cool. All right, so we'll just have a bit of a look around and see what we can see. Like I said, the water leak was relatively small. My thought was that it was kind of coming down here and then kind of making its way. So the roof penetration is obviously under that join there. And so this flashing here kind of comes out like that. And then the other one sits over the top, designed to kind of keep it away from there. But you can kind of see, I don't know if it's going to show up too well on camera, but like you can like see the watermark kind of there. There's one over here. It looks a bit more evident. You can kind of tell like it appears some water has been kind of like coming down there and making its way through. Like I said, the leak wasn't massive. Like I said, if I had photos, I would have put it up already, but I'm thinking this this section here is my issue. Just because, like I said, you can kind of tell a little bit if I kind of pull back out. You can sort of see like the streaks coming down there. But I think what our plan of attack will be, basically, I might even like clean this out and silicone this, hold on, like this bit here. And then I'll get rid of all the old silicone, redo with new silicone, and then we'll, it's kind of a hard thing to test, isn't it? We'll wait until the next rainy day, I guess. So I've got the silicone off as best I can. There's still a little bit there, but we should be all right. I'm still tossing up whether or not to silicone up that section there. Just because really, if I do that, then like, there's a hole right there. It's not like it can't overflow into there. So I figure if we just focus on making sure that this is all watertight, then we'll be sweet. Okay, I reckon that's about as good as it's gonna get. If you've watched some of my videos before, you know I fancy myself as a caulker, and I reckon I could make a pretty good career out of it, and I think the results speak for themselves. Don't you agree? Just a thing of beauty. Well, we've got a couple of nice days of nice weather coming up, so this will have enough time to dry before the next rain hits, I think midpoint next week. But yeah, anyway, we'll jump back over to that little heavy industry splitty and see how that's going. So we got, obviously that's reading basically directly from the vacuum pump, and look, I'll be honest, I was meant to replace my vacuum pump oil, and I didn't get a chance to because my dirty oil bottle is full and I haven't taken it to the mechanic yet to get it emptied. It's only had, like, usually I do it after around 3 to 4. I know they recommend to do it after 1, but I'm not doing that. Anyway, so to get a proper reading, what we'll do is we'll close this and then probably jump up a bit. I mean, look, I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy with that, eh? I'll open it up again while I'm still getting ready. But look, with older systems, you know, I don't know how this thing was installed. I mean, to be honest with you, by the look of it, not that great. So it's kind of, you know, if I can get this thing under 500, then great. If not, if I can keep it under 1,000, I'll be happy, I think. Okay, we'll just get this ready. Oops, nope, tear, yes. Okay, so I've purged my line. The factory charge is 1.6. So here we go. Actually, you know what I might do is I might close off my suction line just so I'm forcing the refrigerant to go that way through the evaporator or indoor unit and then back through the liquid line. So I was taking the long way around. Alright, we are charging. See if we can get it all in one go. let's turn it on. So it's pretty cold downstairs. It's essentially a concrete room. It's a lunch room, but it's, yeah, pretty chilly. So turn this thing on to heating in 30 degrees. So we can see now we are running, but we're gonna monitor it for a little while to see if it faults out again. Got like a warm to hot discharge and a warm liquid line coming back too. So running for about 20 minutes now. What have we got? So 36 degree air off, you know, roughly 19 on. That's looking pretty good. These things are great. You can't obviously trust them down to the absolute degree, but for just a quick real reference, you know, like I said, awesome. Running for about half an hour now without issue. I've still got a bit to pack up, so I'm going to monitor it while I do that. Then we'll chuck in the new Schrader core. But hopefully it was just a, yeah, again, I'm not exactly sure how that would happen, but maybe the low refrigerant was causing it to, I don't know, spit out a fault of some kind. But unless it rears its head again, I think we'll be sweet. And just to be sure, sweet. So I've just turned it over to cooling. One, to see obviously if it will do that, and two, because it's way easier to replace the Schrader core when it's on cooling. Awesome. All right, now I think what we'll do, I'm just gonna let this run for a little while. I might go something to eat. I'm getting pretty hungry now. And then come back and make sure it's still working. And now onto our final job. Had some lunch, went back and checked on that split, and I guess since I turned it on originally, it's probably been about an hour and a half, and it's still running nicely. It's nice and warm in there, so yeah, I'm fairly confident we got the issue on that one. Now, this one, what happened, again, this has all kind of happened on the same day. I noticed I was doing a couple of filter cleans over there. I noticed twice while I was up here that this one was defrosting quite a lot, and none of the other ones were. Thought it was quite interesting. So I popped over, found that my outdoor fan, let's call it outdoor fan. My outdoor fan on stage one wasn't running, and my coil was getting nice and frosty. Now, that was about as far as I can get before the rain kicked in, so I've isolated circuit 1, left circuit 2 running. Now we will, dive into it and see what's going on. Okay, so fun development. We have no power anywhere, so great. So I'll just confirm that. Oops, where are we? Okay, so dead. isolator is on, so we've got to work out why that's off. Just wanted to test incoming power to the isolator, and still nothing. So we got to go find a circuit breaker downstairs. So I just had a quick look at the BMS system, and it only went down about an hour ago. So, I mean, there's always a potential there. They might be doing something. I know I've spoken to the maintenance guy here before. They've said they had a fair few power issues out this way, and specifically in this building too. So maybe that's what the cause is. But just quickly before I go downstairs, I've just got my multimeter on ohms, and I just want to quickly test. I've got my isolator off over there, so we'll just quickly test here. Just seeing if we have any direct shorts. No. We'll go to our contactors. Compressed contactor 1. No. Number 2. No. Fan. No. No. So no dead shorts. Oops, there we go. No dead shorts. None of our contactors overloads are tripped. Yeah, we just have no power, so we'll go downstairs. Just had an interesting chat with the guy downstairs. I think he's like the manager of that particular space. And they actually turned the breaker off for this unit. So I think I referenced that they have power issues here, and one of those power issues is the fact that I think they've got like, this is just what he said, but like something like 80 amps that they're sharing between 2 factories or whatever. So whenever they do like R&D down there. So whenever they do certain tests, they obviously don't want any interruption in power, so they kill power to this. So it kind of means I can't really jump into this any further at the moment now, which is kind of annoying, but you know, I'm not gonna kick up a stink about that, that's fine. He did also mention as well, so I don't know if this one does look familiar at all, but this is the one, again, I can't remember if I've done a video or just something on Instagram, I really forget these days. But this was the one where I said it was too small for the space, and he actually confirmed that. So apparently the original plan was for them to have a second one right there, but whether or not it's like these guys trying to save money or they realize that their power consumption was going to be too high with 2, I don't know exactly know what the go is, but I'm definitely going to follow up on that, because like I said, now that I've at least had some kind of confirmation, it's funny, like you can have these questions that, I mean, I've been thinking that ever since we kind of like, I've taken over this site, and now just through a random coincidental encounter, I have the answer. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm going to follow up on that, because like I said, now that I know that, they definitely need a second one up here. I have a feeling they're in the process of getting someone to upgrade their power, but I mean, in the meantime, yeah, there's not really much more I can do to this. I will just have to come back when power's restored. Okay, we are back. It's probably been about a week since the last clip. Yeah, that just happened now to get out here, I guess. Anyway, so I think from memory, the last time I was here, I'd isolated stage 1 and stage 2 was still working, just to give them something, and now we can kind of jump in and actually work out what the problem is. So the original thing was that I was here, I'm pretty sure I was here doing a maintenance. Notice that this thing kept going into defrost quite a fair bit. And it wasn't, yeah, anyway, so it kept going into defrost a fair bit, came over, left-hand side fan motor wasn't running, started raining, isolated it, left it, had to come back, and came back the second time, and they had isolated it downstairs, because they have power issues and shit here. Anyway, I'm back here for a third time, now we'll jump into it. Still isolated over there. This board's now flashing lockout, probably because of the fact that I've isolated it, but anyway, we'll keep jumping into it. Stage 2 is currently running. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shut it down via the BMS, turn this back on, so then stage 1 will start running again, and we can diagnose that fan. Yeah, I mean, so from memory, I gotta quickly double check that, but these fans operate off a 0 to 10, off the, you can see in there, there's like a V1 and a, it's kind of hard to get in there. Anyway, it's operated off a 0 to 10, which then goes up to this board. This board has 230 sitting there, and then kind of regulates it depending on the 0 to 10 volts. So 10 volts being full power, 100%, 230, 0 volt. It might be like 2 volts or whatever the lowest it goes to. Anyway, so that's how these fans work anyway. So yeah, probably we might be looking at like a board here or something like that, it's just not sending the power.
I was just doing a visual, and check this out. I don't know if you can, see if I can get you in there. Power's still off, but look at that. So we might actually have an issue with this UC8 board. Oh shit! This one over here's got it too. Oh fuck! So this stage was still running. Now that I think about it though, yeah, okay, interesting. All right, now I'm debating whether or not I actually turn power onto that board. Oh, I think we still will. We'll just test it anyway. But we might actually have an issue with that UC8. Crazy that one's still running and it's got bigger burn marks than that one. That's really interesting. Just turn power on now, and I'm gonna stand off to the side on this one. I've got my safety glasses, but just gonna stand off to the side and see what happens here. I've turned it up to 30 on the BMS system. That's okay. So that UC8 board for stage 1 still says lockout. So I think we just write that one off, to be honest with you. If it's yeah, it shouldn't go back into a lockout again. This one here is working, although okay, fan's starting to run now. Now, that fan should slowly build up to 100%. So with the UC8 boards on heating, or in heating mode, the outdoor fans ramp up to 100%. Doesn't really sound like it's... I'm gonna test the 0 to 10 on that. Alright, so multimeter on DC volts. So again, I'm going across that I think it's meant to like 0 volts and like V2 or V1 or whatever. Sorry, V1. So right there to there. So 3.1, and it should slowly be climbing. Like I said, this thing should be running at 100%, which would kind of explain why it was going into defrost all the time, because that coil, or like our suction pressure or suction temperature will be quite low, which we can actually have a look at if we go into here. Hope this thing doesn't fucking blow up on me while I'm doing this. So suction pressure 724, doesn't seem, we'll go about temp 1. Yeah, so that's pretty low, and I'm gonna hazard a guess that's gonna keep dropping. We'll monitor that, and we'll monitor this 0 to 10 as well, just in case it does slowly start climbing up. It's not climbing, so like that temp at the moment staying pretty stable at 1. I think from memory these things will go into a defrost if it gets to -5. I have to look that up, but yeah, like I said, this fan right now should be ramping up to 10 volts or 100, basically 100%, and it's just not doing that. So honestly, that burn mark down there is pretty gnarly, eh? So honestly, I'm surprised it's still actually running. So yeah, shit. I mean, it has been running like that for, a week. I think, honestly, I might just isolate that stage 1 again. We're going to replace those 2 UC8 boards, and yeah, that's basically it on this one. Yeah, crazy. I'd hazard a guess that that's been caused by, they say they've got a lot of power issues here, and they get a lot of brownouts, and potentially it's just caught at the wrong time and either lost a phase or it's spiked or something and it's taken out both the boards, but for whatever reason that UC8 on the stage 2 still running. So anyway, we'll quote to replace those, and yeah, we'll come back and sort that out.